We have to talk about a crazy yet stupid Carnival Cruise Line story that's gonna make you say, what in the Carnival is going on here? Apparently, a manager and multiple crew members working on board a Carnival cruise ship have officially been fired after it was recently discovered that they were involved in a casino scam that's been taking place for the past 2 years. Now, we are going to go over the details of this story, and if you're like me, after you hear all these details, you're gonna be surprised these people aren't in jail. So this crazy story takes place on board the Carnival Glory cruise ship. It's been taking passengers on their dream vacation since 2003, cost $500 million to build, and hosts just over 3,500 passengers at full capacity. In the casino on board, there is a manager that happened to be from Peru, a couple dealers that also happen to be from Peru. They are believed to be extremely professional and some of the best in all of Carnival Cruise Line's fleet. According to a company report, when these crew members, the managers, and the dealers all met 2 years ago, they decided to devise a plan in which they could earn more money than they were getting paid throughout their contract. And they thought they would get away with it because they would only speak in Spanish and they would assume that most people wouldn't understand them. By the way, just for reference, as somebody that has worked on board cruise ships, there's typically between 70 to 100 different nationalities on any particular cruise ship, meaning somebody that speaks Spanish is going to make up a small percentage of the overall population of crew members working on board. However, Spanish isn't exactly an uncommon language, and when you consider where this ship was sailing out of, which I'll go over later, it was still not exactly the right ideology to have for this scam that they were proposing. Anyway, one of the many scams that would take place over the course of 2 years at the Carnival Glory Casino would involve the manager and dealers collaborating with Spanish-speaking guests, helping them steal chips at the poker table. They would then take those chips, turn it in for cash, and they would then give that cash to the manager and dealers, assuming they would also shave some off the top for the guests that helped them out. They would manipulate payments in roulette games by mixing the cash and colored chips. Also in blackjack, they would pay out winnings to the losers and fail to collect on forfeited bets. Now keep in mind, this entire scheme went on for 2 full years until one random day where a supervisor saw what was going on. They then went and reviewed the surveillance footage and then looked back and saw everything that had taken place over the past 2 years. It turns out that at this point in time, because there is still currently an ongoing investigation at the moment, that over 100,000 US dollars has been stolen, and because of that, there has now been at least 8 Carnival employees that have been fired, which include supervisors, managers, and some dealers. Now, just some quick closing remarks as we wrap this video up. One, this group thought that they wouldn't get caught because they only spoke Spanish and they didn't think the other crew members, and I'm assuming the other American passengers, wouldn't understand what they were saying, even though this ship, the Carnival Glory, is currently sailing out of Florida of all places. You know, now that I think about it, technically that's not how they got caught, so they might have been onto something there. 2, they did all of that for $100,000, 100,000 clams. Don't get me wrong, that is a lot of guap, a lot of moolah, a lot of cheddar. However, when you divide that amongst what, I guess 8 people, we don't know how many people were actually within that group and how many people were being broken off as far as, let's say, the Spanish-speaking guests that they were collaborating with. You were willing to risk your entire livelihood for that? I do understand the cost of living is different in the United States versus being in Peru, and then you have the difference in the value of currency, the US dollar versus the currency in Peru, but still. 3, how are these people not thrown in jail? And don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for these people to be thrown in the brig, into the shadow realm they go, never seeing the light of day again. I'm just legitimately curious, is there like levels to this? Is there a certain amount of money or like a threshold that needs to be reached that determines jail time versus being fired? Because I know personally, well, not me personally, but I would imagine that if a regular human goes to a casino and they find a way to steal $100, $10,000 out of the casino, let alone $100,000, even if it is with a giant group, I'm assuming that regular person would be in prison before they could say jackpot. Anyway, I guess the only thing I can say to this, there are actions and there are consequences to things. This is just the way the world works. Maybe you guys feel differently about this story and how it ended. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button on your way out, subscribe if you haven't already, and as usual, I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.